Hey Robin, very excited to get into color mixing for these ambient environments. You had said, I think I have trouble understanding how to make the palette a bit more complex or have more tones without losing the general color design. I feel like there needs to be more color variation. Every material is the exact same tone or color. This is awesome. The first thing that I want to do is separate the different lighting environments that are inside of this space. We actually have one lighting environment over here, and we have a secondary light source over here, and then there's the ambient environment that's kind of spilling into the entire room. And I want to start with that. By only looking at the environment in here, we can imagine a blue value scale, basic ambient lighting for the environment, and we're going to establish what white is in this scene. So I've kind of looked around and I see these white envelopes and these match with this color. So we're going to say that this is actually white. We're going to try to let our eyes adjust to the idea that this is going to be white inside of this space, which then means that when we start adding more hue, more color variation, we can think of this as being the equivalent of a neutral gray. So when we get into a green, we're going to add a little bit more green compared to this, and we're going to break this down. So the first thing that's really important to understand is that because this is white, the green, the blue, the red, the yellow, it cannot be brighter than this because this is white. It's the brightest possible value. So we're actually going to be operating with values more like in here or even in here to find these colors. And it's going to look something like this, where these things look green and red inside of that environment. The colors of the objects and the color of the ambient light are mixing together to create these subtle hues in here. You can see how this kind of feels like yellow inside of this space. We have a light and then we have a shadow. Now all these shadows are actually very close to each other. There's not too much of a variation in here because there's less information in shadows, so there's going to be less color variation. But where the light is, we're going to see more variation in these hues up in here. So let's reset and build this out ourselves. So let's imagine that this can right here is actually a red can. So I'm going to pick the value and I'll go to the color wheel here. And I know that we're going to need to move the hue over a little bit, but obviously if I move it too far, it's probably not going to make sense in this scene, right? This is starting to fracture the relationships. And so I think it might actually be easier, once again, starting with the correct value. If I go to the harmony section, it might be a little bit easier to see that this is the color of light currently, but I need to move it towards what a red Coca-Cola can would look like. And it might arc a little bit if we see an increase in saturation, but it's generally going to be trying to take as straight of a path as it can. No pun intended. So I'm going to just travel straight for now and move towards red. Now I might not make it all the way to red, but maybe just a little bit, and I can start with that. I'm going to start painting this in. Now immediately I just noticed that I have an issue because the value of this is about the same as what appears to be white inside of this space, right? If I take this and push it up against white, it's a little bit darker here, but this is kind of in a brighter area. This is in a darker area. And so this appears to be too bright. It's fracturing the illusion. So let's come back to our color wheel. And this time I'm going to darken the value. And now let's try that. So this is starting to look a little bit more red. I think it might actually be able to be a little bit more purple is what I'm thinking here. So I'm going to move this towards purple. So now we're actually kind of taking a little bit of an arc towards red. And if I paint that in, that seems to be working. So blue and red essentially are mixing together to create the believable red inside of this environment. And now I'm going to put this down in the palette somewhere. And I want to think of my palette as a hierarchy of values, going up as the brightest and then down as lower. So this is about the same value as this one in here. So I can place it right here. And then let's find a shadow. So I'm going to take this value. I'm going to just inch it only a little bit towards purple. And I might even darken it a little bit since I had to darken it for the red. And I always want to test it and see how it looks in that environment. And I think For as subtle as that is, that seems to be working. Let me try letting it be a little bit more saturated. And that also seems to be pretty good. Maybe just keep it a little bit more blue on the safe side over here. So you can see that if I want to increase the saturation, I go further away in this harmony tool. And let's see, maybe even something a little bit more blue, but more saturated. That seems to be working. I'm trying not to zoom in because I want to be able to show the palette here. So we'll take that color, and it seems to actually be kind of down here, closer to this value. And now we have a value string. We could find colors that bridge the gap between these two things when we're ready to start rendering. Now let's look at a green color. So let's say that this bottle is green here. Once again, I'll start with a light. This time we're going to be moving towards green this way. So let's just see what happens when I do this. Once again, that seems a little too bright. I'm risking it being just a little too bright for what we want white to be. I'm going to, once again, darken this value so that it's very clear that these two values do not compete with each other. That seems to be working in the space, so I can accept that. And these are the same value, so I'll put this one here. Now let's find a shadow. If you've already done a thumbnail sketch like this, where you have a lot of your values established, you can just grab the value and then inch your way towards green. I don't know if I need to darken the shadow this time. Might even be able to brighten it a little bit, depending on the nature of the object. If it's a little bit translucent, then maybe some light is passing through that. Yeah, so that looks kind of nice. So I'll put that in, and now we have a value string for greens. Okay, now let's imagine that this can is yellow. Now this is interesting because we're going to be going straight through gray in order to get there. Let's just start with something like this. It's always easy to stay a little bit conservative. Once again, it's too bright. Change that value, bring it down. So that's starting to look a little bit green. Maybe if I let this be a little bit darker and move it even further away from blue, it might start to look even more yellow, sort of a yellowy color, but it feels like a yellow inside of that space. Out of curiosity, if I look at this, okay, so it actually is in the yellow category, but it's really neutral. It's like almost a perfect neutral gray. It just doesn't feel like it because it's surrounded by all of this blue. Add this, so the value of this, yeah, seems to be around here. And then if we have a shadow, could be something kind of like that. Now let's imagine that we have a brown table. So this is going to be something that's in between the yellow and the red, but it's also going to be a little bit less saturated of a color, very likely. So I'll choose this value, and now let's move it towards, we're going to let it be more desaturated, which is actually going to make it stay a little bit more blue because gray is blue in our environment. And I'm probably going to need to darken this value quite a bit. I'm beginning to sense a pattern here. This is feeling like it could pass for brown in this environment. And I'm really just trying to maintain the same basic values, but if I'm changing the overall value of an object, then of course its shadows are going to have to be darker as well, which might mean that I just had to bring down this value and paint over these areas. So it is trial by error. I find it's a lot easier to just continually check inside of the space and then create your light and your shadow, and then you can bridge the gap in between much more easily. If we have blue over here, we're essentially going to take this value and we would just increase the saturation in this case because it's just more blue than what gray is, right? And that's helping this feel a little bit more gray relative to the blue that exists in the scene. So I hope this is really helpful in giving you a path to start to expand. Now, if you wanted to increase this even further, you can just take a green and start to push it towards more saturated green. You can push it further away from blue as well in order to expand that range, to increase the contrast of the colors that exist in the environment. So all of this is being done from the perspective of a single ambient color of light, essentially, and how blue is influencing all these different colors. Once you start to add more light sources, then you almost have to create another palette potentially where you establish, okay, well, what is white going to look like under this new light source? And then you can ask yourself, how much does that light source affect the local colors of those objects? In this case, it probably affects the colors quite a bit. It gives everything a pretty strong yellowy green tint. Over here, we have more of a cyan light. You can ask again, how much do I want that to influence the local colors? And it could be different. You know, maybe this one is very strong and only giving these yellows. Maybe this one actually shows like a little bit of a relative red in that scene because that light is able to pick up a little bit more of true colors. It's not as tinted as, say, this one might be. It really can be this working relationship, and you can really kind of expand or contract what that variation is based on how ambient, how strong you want the color of light to be. Hey, I just want to jump in and say that this video is not really focused on color harmony throughout the entire composition, as I'm more focused on just what is a good process for expanding the color range in all directions within an ambient environment. Juggling the color harmony of the blue environment to the cyan and the yellow, that gets into some different territory. And I do have a video that talks a little bit more about color harmony in compositions that you can watch up in here. If you're interested in a critique or if you're interested in coaching, then check out the links in the description. Take care.